And now our second stadium after you have waited so patiently. We are in Chengdu and apparently another planet. OMG's home arena as they look to face against Suning tonight. This is a big matchup for OMG considering that for them, they have fallen into the pit known as 15th place at the moment. Down towards the bottom, it looks rough. But can OMG climb out? We'll find out. My name's Jake Asterix, joined by Berento Raz Mohammed. And this is going to be a good matchup because both these teams desperately need wins, Raz.
Yeah, and it reminds me of when OMG had their first series in their home venue last year. Who was it up against? It was Suning. New Suning upstarts come in, smash them at home. It feels like every single time they go up against Suning, there is that expectation where they have to play up much higher, have to put up the velocity a little bit more. This seems like a good chance with Suning being so down in the dumps.
That's right. Suning have been on a bit of a streak, but we'll move towards that a bit later. I want to focus to start things off. If you missed IG versus Suning, you missed an absolutely fantastic series and a bit of a 1v1 moment that will go down in history.
So the 1v1 moment was wonderful, but what it really showcases was how much intensity Invictus Gaming brought to the series at the very beginning of the season, or at least in the beginning of this specific game, because like the Shy, gone from mid where that fight ended with Invictus Gaming's favor, goes topside on Smlz, and then Smlz should by all means be able to clean this one up. That's why he's looking to go into the bush, but then boom, the Shy cleans him up.
It's so beautiful. I've watched that about 10 times already. When a Siren can do that, you go, not bad.
It was an insane 1v1, and what I wanted to be able to take away from that game was that Suning, being such a slow-paced team, the least bloodiest team in the LPL, when they were going up against such a high-velocity team like Invictus Gaming, they couldn't really deal with it.
Yep.
And then they go into the second game, and what they did was, game one was so fast, they changed out their mid lane and jungle. Hacker and Maple was out, Angel and Weiwei were in, and they had a much better early game. So it gave a lot of questions to the people that were now in the mid and jungle position if they should be changing them out, because they don't have any winning cogs in the mid portion of the map.
It's super rough for Suning, especially IG wasn't their first loss, and we're not sure if it will be the last, the way this super team is going. Whether we can really call that anymore, they are on a bit of a streak, and it is really rough. You look at one matchup in there in particular, say, okay, maybe EDG is excusable, maybe FPX, IG definitely, but Rogue Warriors, and we had a bit of a discussion about this, that is a win you desperately need.
That's a win that you should be taking.
Yeah.
100%. There's no excuses on that one. It makes sense that you would lose to FPX in Invictus Gaming, but then losing to EDG when they had their debut of Clear Love, and then losing to Rogue Warriors in what was a pentakill, the first pentakill in the split for Zhangwuji. These are all mistakes that they've made in crucial portions of the game where they had a lead versus EDG in certain instances. They had certainly a lead versus Rogue Warriors.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like people, like a good point that was made on Middle Kingdom Mines with from Kelsey that will be revealed pretty soon was just like poor back timings coming in from Suning. Suning is a team that will try and stay on the map and be a little bit greedy with the goal that they have in particular. And then with Suning, when it comes down to some of these individual players, like Maple is so well regarded as like a big talent, like big stage talent coming in from the LMS, goes on international events so often, but then when he gets put in the LPL, the competition is too tough.
Yeah.
Just across the board, it feels like it's very rough for him. So then bringing in Angel seems a lot more reasonable, and it just feels like talent-wise, it's been difficult. And if you just look at the stats alone, you can start to see the reason why they're bringing in Angel and Weiwei a little bit more frequently.
They're wondering which pair works. Do we interchange? Do we put it in Angel, maybe with Hacker, Weiwei with Maple simultaneously? And at the moment, Suning doesn't feel like they have an answer to what is the most successful.
So if you just look at the differences between them, A, they're negative, so both of them are still creating holes within the middle portions of the map. But it's still in favor of Maple and Hacker, so by all means, Hacker and Maple should be playing out more often. It's the challenge that I appreciate. And on top of that, if you see the kills and assists at 15, they actually favor Weiwei and Angel because Weiwei and Angel play way more bloody. Even if Hacker is going through mid a little bit more often, you see kills being distributed to Angel a lot more frequently. And if you saw the last series when it was up against Invictus Gaming, Weiwei in particular was super far ahead off of his Olaf pick.
That's right.
So it's these individuals that are starting to come out, and it's Maple and Hacker that are being tested today.
I think today we'll kind of get an understanding as to what we think is the best kind of duo going forward as well. Still interchanging is rough this late in the season.
Look, you're saying duo? They've decided to break that up. today you'll see it when the rosters are shown on the cameras, but it's going to be Weiwei that's playing this one out, but Maple is still playing. So while we've courted them as a duo and they've played as duos, this time around it seems like they're bringing in Maple because he's the better performing of the bunch. It's been a debatable point, but just based off the games we've seen, Maple has been performing strongly. And then bringing out Weiwei because he's had pretty consistent performances off his Kha'Zix and Ola.
Right. Want to give him a bit more experience as well. How can we know as part of the Suning brand? And Weiwei jumping in with Maple. And Maple, you know, you gave him the excuse of against FPX, he was sick. It wasn't full course Maple, but he's had time to recover, and so have the Suning lineup here. XiaoAL, Weiwei in the jungle pairing with Maple. Smlz and SwordArT, your bottom lane has not changed.
Weiwei brings in that added level of aggression. I want to see what he brings into this one going up against a weakened OMG.
Yep.
Because you should be seeing him pad the stats. Here's the roster for OMG. All in the top lane. Best 16, so you already see the top side of the map back in action as we saw them in the beginning of the week.
Yep.
Icon, Chelly, and 5 does not change, so this is going to be the roster they're courting today.
Well, Icon's actually back as well. Remember in the last series we saw OMG play right, and Icon was out for another series.
There's no such thing as back. It's called a coffee break.
Okay, all right.
I'm talking about there's no way you're changing out Icon for Bright. You saw it on that series. Bright did not perform. Yep. Icon is your point of focus on this team. That's not going to change. What needs to change is the level of consistency, because in their previous series, when Icon was playing up against JDG, they should have won that one.
Yep.
Up at these against the top tier teams, they are so close to being able to nail the victories, but the differences has been the experienced players like Icon and to a certain extent 5. These players are not finding the level of consistencies in the calls later on in the game.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be coming on to the new players of Best 16 that need to fill that gap. I like Best 16 based off of the first 2 weeks that we saw him in. I think bringing in Penguin is a more of a knee-jerk reaction to the recent results that you can't just pin on the jungler.
Because Penguin looks like fantastic. Mechanically, he looks great, but doesn't seem like he's gelled with the rest of OMG yet. This is, as a side note, the roster exactly that beat BLG. So, although now it's less and less relevant as OMG start taking more of those losses, it is good to see that they're reverting back to what at the start of the split seemed to work.
Because at the start of the split, that was a good team. And I think bringing in XiaoAL and bringing in Penguin, they've done this a lot where there was a rotating, like, 3-man jungle because they just wanted to see whatever sticked.
Yeah.
But what stuck was, like, I thought all of the junglers, you could have had them play, and like, when FireLolly was the jungler for the team, I thought he was good. They should have kept running him. But then whenever they made a mistake on the Rift, swap him out, bring in someone else like XiaoAL. Yeah. You know, XiaoAL is great. Had an identity of like focusing on ganks through mid and top.
Then
and
another mistake. And we're like, all right, it's happening again.
So it comes down to the fact that development when you're on the field for OMG doesn't exist.
Yep.
So it doesn't make much sense to me to bring in XiaoAL when Ale was the commodity, like the guy that every team was looking to pick up.
In the high school class of 2019.
And he is such a strong player that you want to be able to just run him and see, like, if it's a developmental split, have him run in through the games and have that experience, then make it that. But right now it seems like they are finding mistakes and they're going back to the old top laner that they didn't find any success on in the previous splits. So I think this is an issue that OMG is constantly going back to. I like the fact that they're bringing back Ale in Best 16.
Yeah, and Icon's there. The stability in the mid lane still exists. Chelly and 5, if we're gonna kind of talk about stability and maybe a bit more success, then Chelly and 5 sit down there as, okay, OMG, at least they keep Chelly and 5, which is more stability.
Yeah, stability. They can do their own. Remember, OMG plays towards top side pretty frequently.
That's true.
And what Chelly provides to the team is actually great flexibility in the champion pools.
Yep.
Whenever we go in, picks and bans for OMG, like at times they get too cute and it can like bite them.
Yeah.
But then other times Chelly comes in with really good options here. Cassiopeia, Yasuo, like just basically the non-AD carry,
Nico
AD carries.
as well.
Nico's
the only Nico bottom
So
lane.
he can be able to provide that for your team, and that's really crucial because if you're trying to get any advantage, especially up against the team you mentioned, BLG, that is such a smart drafting team, then that's a great point in utility you can be able to use. So that's wonderful for OMG. You just have to see it on the map.
You have to see it against Suning, who, you know, if we do talk about those drafts, Suning has been some of the better. Bringing in Coach comment from a FLICKR Freaks has been some really intellectual drafts, I would say. Smlz has also been picking up things like the Cassiopeia down in the bottom lane. I think there was a Morgana game at some point that we...
Morgana was last year, all right? You got to calm down with that one.
Right,
I don't think we're ever seeing the Morgana again.
No. All right.
But you're right in the fact that SMLZ has found that level of flexibility. For this year, I think he's on Ezreal, dude.
All right, well, let's find out, because Ezreal might be a priority here, considering Chelly and 5 have been either quiet or full blast. But Suning need to win just as badly as OMG. The super team, we are removing it from their name if they cannot find leeway over OMG in this game 1.
Look, super team is given to teams that have that name brand where you think Maple, SMLZ, SwordArT, XiaoAL, and at the time Hacker, that's exceptional. So like on paper, it should succeed. So super team, that name doesn't have to die. It's when you start playing poorly that you're like, look, you put in a lot of resources and no income's coming back. So for Suning, they don't want to make 5 losses in a row. They're coming into this one with that 4-0 run going into Chinese New Year's. And they need to pick the ball right back up.
Running Maple and Weiwei. Let's see what happens in game 1, because pick priority in this series is going to be very different, with Ale taking a ban with the Fiora, which seems to interest me against OMG. Suning just go for the Aatrox.
You know what's great into the Aatrox? Let me say a Jax.
Okay.
So there are still a lot of carry options that Ale can go to. And if he's been watching a lot of Victory 5 games on his hiatus, then you can see a lot of ways to play carry top lanes and still have that level of engage with the Galio that's just been locked in.
Ali was very confident in the carry Fiora, so a lot left open. You see a Galio and a Kalista there for Chelly and 5.
All right, looks like they're just going straight towards what for them is priority. Because you'd expect SwordArT to go towards his Alistar, so it seems like a bit of a bait.
Yep.
Is SwordArT going to go to the Alistar? Is it going to go to the Pike? Those two champions completely it gives you something different where one champion is going to be like, all right, well, let's pick Kaisa Alistar for the composition.
Yeah.
But they are given an opportunity to counterpick. And that's why I think Ezreal and I'll say Thresh would be my go-tos.
Well, maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe SwordArT reverts back to what he was known for heavily in Flash Wolves and has been picking up quite a lot in Suning. And he locks that one in. So alongside the Zoe that has still got an exceptionally great win rate in China, we'll see some safety set up in the bottom lane, but no Ezreal.
Safety is the point. If I'm OMG right now, you start levying bans towards the AD carry position. You know that jungle is an option too, so you can actually just ban the Olaf and Ezreal and probably get a good deal there. So OMG, they're hovering it right now. If you lock in that Camille, that is a great flex pick between best 16 and towards Ale, the Camille player.
But we do not know where that Aatrox is going, and we have seen a great counter pick to the Camille, although how is XiaoAL on something like the Riven? Maybe I'm going too far forward, but if it goes to the top lane, Raz, ooh.
Just remember Aatrox has the second dash. This is before the nerf that came through and hit him in the head. So Aatrox is still a wonderful mid laner in top lane. So you're right. Maybe Maple picks it up. He's been finding more success on bruisers and tanks and supporting picks.
Maybe Weiwei picks it up as well. We've seen a bit more Aatrox jungle in the LPL now.
That's true. That's fair.
We'll see if the Akali actually is a meaningful ban here, because Icon has been still stellar in most of his performances, remembering that the Jace has been one of his go-to, one of the first mid laners in the LPL in 2019 to pick it up, but Renekton is the ban there for XiaoAL.
So what you're saying was, you know, the Aatrox not going topside. It seems like OMG's picking up on that one as well. Renekton and Ashe as bans, two completely opposite from what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think if I'm Suning, you're saying great. I'll pick up the Olaf immediately afterwards. Olaf into Camille is wonderful.
Yeah.
You just go for it when you get the chance.
Camille wants to go in. You want people to come to you.
Oh, please lock it in.
If this gets locked in,
please lock it in.
We'll be reminiscent. Come on.
Look, you could already see him, man. They're going to lock in the Syndra, but Echo is what I want to see for Icon. Remember, he knows he's going up against the Zoe matchup, so whatever is... Now he's just going even more reserved. Ryze, they're all great picks into the Zoe. Echo's like, all right, after a first few bases, when I have Proto Belt, level 6, I can dive whenever I feel like it. I can get the attention for my jungler. And then Syndra's like, well, I can still do the same thing, output the pressure, but if anything goes wrong, then I will start relentlessly feeding. And Ryze is all is good. It's like, I still do well in lane.
But we'll get there.
Yeah.
Still waiting for that Echo to come through, but We're going to have to wait another game by the looks of it. All right, Jarvan. Many a Jarvan here tonight. That's more than likely. Oh, still at this point, I'm going to leave it up to a guess because we have, just over in the LCK, seen a top lane Jarvan from Hunter Life. And we'll see Smlz. Yep, it's the Ezreal, of course. Ezreal, Tahm, Kench. As standard as you'd like for Suning's bottom lane.
So, I mean, that's just not surprising. They haven't really had much in terms of just a counter pick option, but knowing what he's going up against half the battle.
Oh, get out of town. Arlen doesn't have Fiora, so he has Riven, pretty much the same, right?
I was wondering if he was a Riven player. Because he's a Camille player, for certain.
Yep.
And if you're a Camille player and a Fiora player, my god, if you don't have a Riven in that inventory, I'm telling you right now, you're trolling.
Yeah.
So, Ale, if he locks in that Riven, please trade the Camille and Riven.
They swapped over it after
Please.
giving Ale the Riven.
Please trade the Camille
If
and Riven.
yeah, they're going to trade it over, Ryze. If they don't,
there are a few players in solo queue and high elo solo queue go Riven jungle.
Really?
Riven jungle is a thing.
Oh, hang on.
But I hope Camille is a better thing.
Hang on.
Camille jungle is a better
What?
thing!
Riven jungle. Okay, I was wondering why they swapped from top to SwordArt's like, is this legit? What's going on here? I mean, even Coach comments like, man, good luck.
Look, this is going to be real fun.
Yeah.
Riven ganks, my friend.
Oh my god.
Riven ganks real well.
Yeah.
Riven is a manaless jungler, which is the most obvious statement in the world. And flag and trap is what you would want to expect from a Jarvan wanting to escape Riven.
Of course.
And Riven doesn't want to let you do that. So I feel like this is still a good matchup for the Riven, but it really predicates on the fact that her numbers earlier on, I want to see if she can still take Raptors and Krugs pretty easily.
Yeah.
I think she wants to forego that and try and get level 2, level 3 so she can gank mid side. So I want to see if she can get a mid lane gank going early.
As well, getting that level 6, that ultimate is pretty big in the early levels of burst damage that comes out. But Riven jungle now, best 16 has been a Gragas player. He's played Jarvan, he's played aggressive junglers, but this just takes it to a new level.
Going up against Suning, they just want to trip him up. Trip him up in the draft. Where is that Camille going? We thought Camille was going mid lane. Jungle. We're like, alright. Throw in the Riven. Even after all is said and done, we're like, is that going to be a Riven top? So Weiwei is going to be going into this one not knowing the matchup very well. That's just a certain. You don't know the matchup if you're going into a Riven jungle. You don't see that solo.
Yeah,
so
just like, how do I deal with this?
Best 16 has to be prepared for the matchup. And on top of that, his early pathing is what's going to tell you why he went for this option.
And I gotta say, I wonder if the crowd's gonna be quiet because they didn't know what to expect coming into game one. But in OMG's home arena in Chengdu, we have the debut, Raz, I don't know if this has crossed the world, of our Riven jungle.
On early ward on best 16's blue side jungle.
Smart.
I think what we're going to be seeing here from Weiwei is that he wants to try and vertical jungle. That's usually what you see, but
okay.
First things first, Riven's picking up Aftershock.
Oh,
Not a surprise here.
Okay.
Remember how Aatrox jungles? If Aatrox jungles, he picks up Aftershock.
True.
Reason for that is you have a knockup in your kit. You get the easy resistances, so it feels so tanky if you're going up against her, and you don't question the damage that she's going to follow up with. So.
Yeah, very true.
And on top of that, she goes Inspiration Secondary, and you'd expect that to be the boots. I think on top of that, you would want Futures Market. Like, just, I don't know if you can get both of them still, but I would still say that, like, in terms of the gold value you get back from having magical footwear, super efficient. She's going to get to her early items, and she's just longsword heaven. So in terms of her early items that she picks up, she is incredibly efficient on her first few pickups.
And take a look at best 16's clear. He's gone from red up to Krugs instead of going straight to Raptors and trying to get early Scuttle. That deep ward is going to spot out whether Weiwei was going for Scuttle, but he's gone bot side instead, is now going up for the double Scuttle / invade, as best 16 now going onto the Raptors.
Going towards the Scuttle Crab because he has at least pushed through mid lane, so Maple is going to help him out here. So it's going to be on best 16 just clearing out. So as you've already seen...
Cosmic Insight instead though.
There we go. Extra CDR that he can now access. Because you've already seen Riven top lane so often. Through Viper, through Jinnu.
It's not a niche pick anymore.
Yep. so easy to pick up, like Caulfield's Warhammer, Kindle Gem to a certain degree. Like, you can just get a whole host of just cooldown reduction, so it makes a lot of sense. Now, he's already pivoting towards a gank.
It's a very intelligent gank, considering he just saw Weiwei in the top side of the map. Wants a lane gank at level 3, which with the gap close is very easy. Rather lane gank going for the flank. All out of position here for Suning's bottom lane. SwordArT is just scouring vision.
SwordArT has just been looking at that blue side jungle for so long. They have information that she started top side, and they don't know where she is.
Can the outplay come through? 5 walking forward. Flashes need to be burned here. Smlz Arcane shifts away. Best 16 forces one out of SwordArT, but then just has to leave the lane. Smlz holds onto his.
You've seen Suning's last few games, the way they play through bottom lane, or at least how the bottom lane plays at all. Early on, they play super passively.
Yeah.
That's why Tahm, Kench, and Ezreal is such a priority. Jarvan, whoever it is, plays through mid lane, top lane so frequently that Smlz and SwordArT are put in a position where they just have to expect bottom lane to be camping them.
But then usually it comes around where Smlz and SwordArT become very relevant in the mid game because of how that early has gone. And Smlz's been very good on the Ezreal, but in the past couple of series, it's been going very awkwardly for them. See, it's just about the vision game at the moment, so the bottom lane again left on an island as they get pushed in and vision spots out the junglers.
And remember, if we're just talking about the last series that Suning had to go up against, that was up against an empowered Invictus Gaming, and they sped the game up.
Yep.
That has been, notes have been taken on that series. OMG coming into this one, recognized that Invictus Gaming just fought them through bottom lane. They followed the Ezreal, and knew Ezreal was just not, wasn't his biggest trough in the game. So while mid lane was super strong, you already see a trade going through here. Kalista, Ryze, Galio, and Riven. If they just amp it up early on when Smlz is at his power trough, then OMG are pretty confident that they can get ahead early on.
Yeah, he's taking notes from her. You can see that with the vision line as well already. They're able to react to something from Weiwei, or if Maple starts roaming early as well, considering that Icon will be pushed in and won't have the flexibility at least till that Realm Warp. But another scuttle. Weiwei's picked up 3 out of 4 scuttles in this early game.
Experience-wise, he's been doing fairly well.
That's kind of rough actually for Ali. We're going to see a level 5 versus level 5 as Weiwei coming into the top side after picking up that said scuttle. Experience not just there yet.
I don't trust this one, Hat. Here we go.
Well, the flash great from Ali. Times it well. Now with the hook shot back into Weiwei. He flashes. Oh, Camille top. That's juicy.
That was really well done. He had flash and hook shots at a really low cooldown. So he knew he could outplay that quite easily. If Maple had not joined him, then that's going to be a 2v3. So he even had Riven in the area just in case it actually goes through. So well done from Ali to outplay the situation.
The best 16 is a level behind, so you could see that he was kind of not adamant to join anyway. But you're right. Ali, very well played in the 1v2. Weiwei with no flash now. The threat level against best 16 is kind of relinquished until he gets that Cataclysm, but he just lost his Raptors. So now still that level advantage is going to hit him.
It's huge at this point. Weiwei, even though he, top lane dive was a bit much, he's already taken away the Scuttle Crabs, as you've already mentioned. 3 Scuttle Crabs, a lot of experience that he's able to pick up for free. Raptor camp there. He should be at a pretty healthy level advantage, and that's on a Jarvan too. Having access to Cataclysm, if you're an EDG, the moment you get access to Ultimate, you look immediately and set up bottom lane play.
Yeah.
So I want to see how quickly Suning could set up Weiwei when he has that level lead.
Shove should be quite easy here still against Icon. Means Maple will be joining the fight, now being level 6 himself. Having a bit of range advantage if you compare middle lanes and bottom lanes. Be a teleport burn from Smlz, so a couple of summoners used. Rather, we'll see what happens here, because best 16 now level 5. Still that level difference. Where's Weiwei 6? Surely comes now with the red buff.
Good Scryer's plant usage, just catching out 5 in rotation. That's one of the biggest call-outs you have to see. A Galio that inches closer to level 6 makes it easier for him to inject himself into the fight. But even before that, it has great pick potential. Maple right now coming into this one still has double summoners, but he's been trying to gain control of the bush on the right, so he has eyes on if there's any roaming coming across. 5 needs to be nailed down within the lane.
Yeah. Just roaming around. Weiwei is here. The ghost of the past will just disappear as Weiwei's come down, but there are no wards here. And bottom river has actually gone back over to Suning. Apart from that deep ward from OMG, that's going to spot Maple roaming down to the bottom lane.
Another Scuttle Crab.
Number 4 out of 5 for Weiwei. 5 might be caught out here as well, Raz. 5 will get the shield of Duran down, but Fate's call to save the day. That's painful, considering Suning did everything right.
They're doing so much right. I think even just using Fate's call in general takes the fangs out of OMG's bottom lane, so.
True.
Ooh, here we go.
XiaoAL with a roam down onto Icon, misses everything. Icon just walks out of there with Phase Rush. That's all bird for XiaoAL.
That's cool. All right, you know, I'm just going to go back. No harm, no foul.
Pretty well done for Icon, even if it was just walking straight. Sometimes the best juke is doing nothing at all.
If we just run down the matchups 8 minutes into the game, bottom lane was picked to do well for OMG, mid lane was picked to do well for OMG.
Yeah.
I think top lane is a bit back and forth, so thankfully Ale's winning in that one. But across the board, it's been Suning taking advantage of what should be losing matchups, at least very early on, like post 6. And they've been doing super well with it. So Maple, Smlz, coming out higher in the lane, it's going to make it very difficult for OMG to, like I talked about, amping up the pressure. Right now, OMG is trying to stop the bleeding.
Yeah. Trying to get best 16 in a comfortable position as well. This Riven jungle hasn't been as active as Weiwei has been. And Ale, while he's pushing in the top side of the map, XiaoAL sitting behind turret after getting this blue buff. Where does best 16 go? Well, he's away from the turret. I mean, XiaoAL will be able to farm comfortably, and there's no cause considering Maple and Weiwei are here as well.
Just thinking about all the preparation a team puts into a game. Because, like, the drafting was a lot of preparation to get it working for themselves and find a situation where you can finally last pick that Riven. The early gank that came through bottom side that fizzled out, think of how often they would have to run that in practice because the pathing was wonderfully done. Didn't go towards blue side jungle. Yeah. It really kept SwordArT guessing where the hell is the
Oh my
SwordArT
god!
flashes forward, devoured up by SwordArT. You can see the blood in his eyes.
He wanted it.
5's going to be chasing this, but just for his own valor.
He wasn't even talking in the camera as you saw, man. It was just SwordArT and Smlz
just doing it. And SwordArT's like, man, what is going on? It was
You don't see Betty doing that.
No, you do not. It's good to see SwordArT has adapted to his AD carry. But that's the pressure that's coming out of this very big Ezreal player. 10 CS ahead in this lane already. That's with the Sheen, that's with the Tier. Got random items in his inventory thanks to Klepto, and it's very painful. Potion. Yeah. Those were the good old days.
That was nice.
Ale wants to take this 1v1, but I don't know what was happening there. I was just waiting for the proc of Q. Best 16 having a hard time in his jungle. Might be spotted out here by Weiwei. A level advantage still in the favor of the Jarvan as Best 16 gets over the wall, but the turret plating and the damage has been done in the bottom lane turret. Suning have pushed this advantage. True shot barrage. Yummy, yummy.
Woo! Okay. Oh, I thought the, there we go.
I don't think Action's going to stop here because Weiwei is just cataclysming on him, or about to rather. Gets out with the Dragon Flag instead. Icon chasing this one up. Best 16 has ulted.
Yeah, it's not going to come through. They thought that that Ryze had another wave of just a Rune Prison.
Yeah.
Wasn't to be the case.
Not enough range there for the Ryze especially. Best 16, just use it, make it look cool. Hang on. Nope, it's expired. Never mind.
But man, I mean, recognizing that even though the Sleepy Trouble Bubble is going to lock him into the fight, he's like, yeah, I want this fight.
Oh, really?
We got another fight apparently. Hextech automated on XiaoAL.
He just took too much damage. Remember Electrocute, the moment that comes out, you're like, all right, that's too much damage for me.
This is Old Conqueror as well. I don't know if that has any relevance in the matchup. Probably not at the moment because XiaoAL is absolutely dominating it now, forcing Ale under turret and picking up his first turret plating.
Turret plating is just going. Remember, we still have 2 minutes of this. 2 minutes of the pressure going bottom lane. I would expect the bottom lane tower to go down before that even becomes an issue. So Suning playing through mid, getting Maple priority, and then he goes bot lane. And even though they don't go for a dive, that's not even the intent. They're just trying to get Smlz and SwordArT just chipping at the tower. And it's got him an Iceborne Gauntlet off the gate.
They've definitely learned something off of IG. That's how to make their lanes more dominant. Suning playing it well against a team that has struggled to transition in the early part of the LPL. That's starting to do damage when maybe it shouldn't at 12 minutes in the game. More turret plating, Raz. Look at that eye.
I just want to see how much gold pops into XiaoAL's
pockets
on this one. Okay, 160. Traded between both of them.
Yep.
Would have been a lot better if Weiwei got out of the equation.
XiaoAL still wants to take the fight. Now, best 16 is up here, but again, there's just such a big advantage for the 20 CS lead on Weiwei. And first Turret Blood's going to drop down too. Rift Herald, does she take gold? No, she doesn't. What is she going to do with it?
330. Buy herself something nice. At this point, XiaoAL is going to buy himself something real nice.
Coffin, maybe.
What?
Yeah. Rift Herald's going to die, Raz. I don't know how to tell you.
That's very grim.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Well, go back into the void, I guess, is the PG version.
Thank you.
Speaking of roughness, though, best 16 tries to drop a ward and maybe contest for the scuttle. Again, giving up quite a lot.
I'll go for a gank
Oh,
here.
wow, interrupted on
my
Ali's
God.
hook shot. Now for the 1v2, XiaoAL, remember, has the world ender available. Whose world will end first? But the ultimate burned out immediately, double flash there, and they'll lock down the Aatrox. But Weiwei is coming in, hook shot, walk shot again, but interrupted, Cataclysm down. Jarvan gets first blood, a late 13-minute one at that, and best 16, Riven maybe on a 1v2, but this is not the time nor the place.
Shows back up, and you already seeing why Riven jungle doesn't work out if you're that far behind. You think most junglers can't, but in Riven's instances, you know, you're already so far. You're itemizing, you need to itemize towards like more damage. You'll blow up right away. So I like the idea of going topside, and he was that close to being able to pick XiaoAL, but Weiwei's been on point and where he needs to be all game long. He's pushed out top lane, allowed him to push all the way up to the second tower, and guess what? He's going to be in the area. So for Riven, for best 16, you're going to have a tough game for this point forward.
Because he keeps clearing out the Raptors and then trying to move up towards that top side. Now that he finally gets in lane, he doesn't have the vision to confirm where Weiwei exactly was. That's just what's happening with this Jarvan. He has full control over the map. Picks up, I mean, I think there's only been 1 or 2 scuttles that have gone over to best 16. You can see the variety in this jungler in Weiwei and the comparison that we make to Hacker.
For this point forward, best 16 should not have any more vision on where Weiwei's going. He's never going to have that just because of before that even happened, before the play even came to fruition, the vision control was lined up bot side for Suning.
Yep.
They're going for a play.
This
really well
world
done.
very ambitious. They do lock down Smlz, even SwordArT splashes and devours him, wins 4. No damage there. OMG, 4 members commit for that as Weiwei is on backup patrol.
They're just going to go straight towards mid lane tower, in fact denying the full wave from Icon, so Icon loses out a lot for that venture.
They can't find Smlz or burn any more summoners apart from SwordArT's flash. That's pretty rough for OMG. They want to bring that tempo game, much like IG did, but in a very different way, arguably.
Just trying to go towards bottom lane so frequently. At least IG did that just through the 2v2. This time around, OMG tried to do that with Chelly and 5 too, but that just didn't work out.
Yep.
Losing out in the skirmishes, 5 couldn't leave the lane to try and look for like mid lane opportunities because Suning had just nailed down scuttle crab upon scuttle crab. Control wards around mid lane was just constantly in favor, so Icon had to seed pressure, and then eventually Chelly and 5 had to seed pressure.
Yep. And what's super rough as well, because of that vision, because of that control, is they get sliced by a bit of barrage. There's a double ocean on a team with an Ezreal, a Zoe. Who else could just go in and out? I mean, may as well call it Aatrox. And more gold going to go over to them as well. That is a lot of gold in the back pockets there of Suning in this first game in lanes that are winning out and continuing to pressure up. Icon has just been bursted in. Goodbye, Icon. Maybe, maybe not. The Cataclysm does drop down. A big flush out from Weiwei. He's getting sandwiched in. How's he going to get out? Ale says there's no way, Jose. But again, ultimate comes down. Ale does get one. The Fate's call's there. Do OMG re-engage? It's simply to save 5's life. And a pick for OMG will stir the pot for a little longer.
Second time in a row, Icon just baits the fight. He wants it. Are they going to pick up another fight and try and pick up mid lane tower?
XiaoAL still has ultimate, but 5 is unable to react. He gets destroyed. A 1-for-1 as the Aatrox once again runs in, and XiaoAL will be burnt down. But with ulti coming back up, the world under now down. Turret will drop 2. Icon gets his healing from his shield. Or rather, a safety net as OMG have to now be careful of Smlz.
The 3 members here, so low in range, so Smlz and Maple can just run roughshod here. Oh, no Chelly.
Two-shot barrage just come through. Best 16 be caught out with the trouble bubble. Maple, you devil! The Riven jungle falls beyond the bubble of a Zoe.
They just have no wards on the map. This is a tough one, man. This is tough. It's tough to watch.
But I tell you what, it's good to see that Suning have fixed, how do I put this lightly? have fixed a lot of issues that have made us second guess.
Thank you for that one. There's not a lot of light things happening this game. This has been a really rough experience.
Yeah, it has. Icon just realm warps. He's probably going to die here. Not sure what that was, but OMG, they're kind of caught by surprise again.
Let's see how many more people fall.
Oh,
okay,
hang
could
on,
be
Maple
Ole.
found one. Who's
right.
next? Here
Goodbye.
comes Zoe. Oh, just the tip of the iceberg, apparently.
They had all moved away. It's like if Ole goes, thankfully it's not me.
And what's so annoying about this composition is when they're ahead, a Zoe and an Ezreal, the poke just keeps you out of the fight before it even begins.
That's why when you said 2 Ocean Dragons on what was a real in-depth poke composition, yeah, nothing's happening here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, best 16.
Yeah,
Look, did he get the red buff? No, Weiwei took it, Devour, spit out. Yuck. It's off. And best 16 drops down now for Ali. Does get the trade-off on Smlz. Oh, is right, Raz, because Ali might get out of here. No.
Same direction. Go back the same direction.
Yeah. Over the wall. That's good. Wait.
Okay.
Trouble bubble. Oh,
what?
flashed away. Ali's still alive. Maple's here. He doesn't get the chilling smite down. Slowed down with the Hextech sweep. Ali's some kind of sorcerer.
Look, I would be mad if I respected Zoe would actually phase that one through the wall.
Yeah.
And she just right in front of her face. I'm sad for him. He still gets out, so great job to Ale. But he tried to outplay the Zoe Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
He did. And very cheekily, so at least he got out. That's all that matters. It's probably going to be close to a Trinity Force for Ale as well. So, although OMG, it looks like they're grasping at straws in this first game, this play kind of ended okay.
Yes, it's all the Ale show. Best 16 trying to set up brother Ale up. Because Ale only has one person in mind. You're thinking SwordArT, Weiwei? No. It's going to be trying to get the full damage on top of Ezreal. So, Ezreal has to keep himself safe. Remember, hookshot max first. You're going to be able to get out of that one pretty easily.
Let's take a look at this. Oh,
I love it every time.
Outplayed
Someone make
yourself.
this a GIF, throw it my way. It doesn't have to be a long one. It could be just a 1 second of like Zoe Sleepy Trouble Bubble in front of her face. And of course, Ale is just like, naturally, he's going to throw it to the wall.
Flash,
I have to flash it. I need it. Someone send it to my Twitter account.
At Res LPL, by the way. Best 16, you could see the intention there, what he was trying to do. The Riven just not doing any damage at this point in the game as well. And you also saw a cheeky little Devour from SwordArT for the kill rather than to save Smlz, but they're so far ahead. That's why they're doing it. That's a 7,000 gold lead, and you can see why SwordArT is happy to play with this food.
What stinks is that this is not a good Baron team. So well, when you have Zoe and Ezreal, they're just not going to go towards Baron, pick it up, and try and nail the game down because it takes too long to go through the Baron buff. And the enemy team can actually just contest you with Ale. So you're going to just see sieges. Sieges bottom lane, sieges on inner towers, sieges on the inhibitor towers. And it's just going to be seeing if Maple can actually land these Sleepy Trouble Bubbles. And right now, it's not working out for him.
Doesn't matter though, because with, again, the Ocean Dragon, look, there's a lot of mana there. They're going to keep coming out. Maple's already got Luden's Echo, that's 20%. So enjoy it while it lasts. Suning looking very much in form here in this first game.
Another Sleepy Trouble Bubble, let's go.
Does it land? Yes, it does. Who's it onto? Icon has to cleanse away. Over the wall, Maple's there. True shot barrage. Hook shot, woke shot. Get out of there. Weiwei's just jumped in with the Cataclysm, and Icon is the lone survivor in it, but for how long? The hero's entrance from 5 comes in. 3-man taunt. Turn around now for OMG. 5 does pick up the first one. Fate call in, and Chelly is free firing, but XiaoAL in the ultimate. They just turn back around. The Aatrox gets one. The Smlz still alive and kicking for now. They do get the Zoe, but it's just painful at this point. A triple kill to the top lane, and OMG just get decimated.
Look how bloody that was. OMG's priority targets nailed down SMLZ and Maple so early on. So SMLZ wiped out of the fight, Flash still up. And Maple, he recognized he needed to get on top of Chelly fast. If Chelly was allowed to just free fire like that, that would have been such a bad fight for Suning. So he risked his life to take down Chelly and make the fight a little bit more livable for Suning.
His first couple of kills are going to come easy with Chelly with those Halo blades, or at least to get the spears in, rather. We'll take another look again, because OMG still spreading their wings.
The ultimate couldn't be able to follow it up on.
Yeah.
Jarvan flag and drag. Started out really nicely. The only issue is that Weiwei goes under. Galio sets up what were 3 people in a wonderful taunt situation. SMLZ dies so quickly. So then at that point, you're a green light to go. Look at what Maple had to do to be able to take down Chelly. Right in between 3 people. So easily he had to go down for that trouble. And Suning coming out ahead. But guess who didn't die? That was Ale. Ale came out of that one alive and well and prospering. So now he has Trinity Force, and he is still a win condition for this team.
Yeah. Almost got his second item as well. Ali's exciting because if you haven't tuned into the LPL just yet, Ali is the one we showed. That is English, yes. the Fiora top lane 1v5 with a 1-for-1 trade.
And all that 12% that we're looking towards OMG, that's the Ale factor.
Yeah.
That's Ale being able to find a sick team fight, an assassination on Smlz, or even just like a wonderful split push situation. You already see him on side lane. He wants to at least get one tower down for his team. They're not going to be able to pick up anything.
Yeah, XiaoAL's coming down to match him as well, so there's probably going to be a bit of damage, no more, no less. And Suning towards the top side of this map, where as you mentioned how good they are at sieging. They want to continue that. Baron just getting looked at like it's some kind of rotten seafood for Tahm Kench at the moment.
They just have to focus on lanes.
They do.
Up at least until Seraph's Embrace gets locked in, because that damage gets amplified when Seraph's is in.
How often do you see an Ezreal Arcane shift forward towards a Ryze and just do half his health? Well, that's pretty rough. That's almost let's say 3 items. 3.5.
It's a major-like build where you can just go tier to tier.
Yeah.
It's the tier-to-tier action.
And he got good tier first.
Yeah.
You know, or rather good tier item without upgrading it a little bit too early. So props to Smlz. Was it Smlz who did it too early?
It was iBoy.
It was iBoy.
So now Smlz is in a position where like about 36 minutes into the game he should have his next Seraph's Embrace.
Yep.
We'll have to see how quickly he can upgrade that, but he's already pushing out a lot of damage onto Icon, and you'd assume Chelly and 5 at this point. So looking on OMG, they have a very squishy lineup, and they're all susceptible to this.
It's going to happen again, Raz. Look at that Icon. He's out. Smlz just comes 40, Arcane shift forward again.
Look, this is beautiful. We just need to see this time and again. And that's the way Suning are going to take this tower. It's just the constant poke damage coming through. They can't brute force it, though it looks like they're trying to.
Well, at least if Chelly gets hit around, it's going to be so much easier for Suning, but OMG need to take the engagements onto Weiwei. Dragon Flag away. XiaoAL is in on the side. Now, XiaoAL is the biggest issue here, considering he's almost got 3 items. And he's the one who's going to lock him down. I'm
just concerned about this brute forcing tactic. You already saw how much HP taken off of Weiwei, but Ocean Dragon #2 allow him to stay around.
See, Raz, and yours onto something. There's a Cloud Drake there as well. And add what you will. All dragons are great now.
No,
Since they upgraded.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
No, I'm dead right.
Stop it.
Speaking of dead, Raz. Speaking of dead. Oh, there goes another. Suning have found Chelly. OMG lose their AD carry. That's an inhibitor.
That's one inhibitor. They can now move to this one with the wave coming in. Yeah, this is quick and clean.
This is very good from Suning. What we were expecting from them at the start of the split, but what's been lacking, Icon's been locked down again. SLP, Arcane shifts forward. It's a power trip for this AD carry, and OMG definitely not invited.
OMG are feeling like jobbers right now whenever they go up against the top tier teams of the league. When this is very similar to the series they had versus TOP.
What's that sort of? I don't know what's going on here, but Suning are just going to go and look to end the game anyway.
That was a yawn.
Best 16. Raz was so excited to see the Riven jungle. Can it make an impact in this fight as Ale goes golden? But the Hextech Ultimatum already used. Best 16's in, and now he's out. XiaoAL has found 5 with the Fate's Call. Chelly looks to save his support, but now he might just get deleted by Maple. Look at the fountain dive that's about to happen. Maple, hello, Paddle Star. Yes, the Sonya's. Wait for it. The Nexus is going to go down, but I'm convinced
just get the game over
is
with.
Going to end with more kills from Suning. They don't want it to end here. Icon does find one, but it will be the next in the end before any more is lost. And a very clean, convincing game from Suning.
Well, that was an early game gambit from OMG.
Yeah,
and
it was.
Didn't pay off. You cannot penetrate that bottom lane when they have Ezreal and Tahm Kench. We've seen them try again and again. Teams have gone towards the bottom lane for a gank, and Smlz and SwordArT are not going to get ganked. They're ungankable with those champions.
That's true. And unlike IG, where they were able to penetrate that bottom lane, where they were able to, you know, the word of tonight, play Disruptor, OMG just didn't have an answer. And it came from not having an answer in the jungle as Best 16 tried out what was a 4.7k damage Riven.
Feels bad, man.
It does.
Feels bad. Because at least Jarvan has an excuse. Sets up his Cataclysm and he says goodbye.
Yep, that's right.
He's waving the flag. Riven was waving a different kind of flag. It's definitely the white flag. After the first gank didn't go through, lost 2 scuttles. No, 4 scuttles.
Yep, that's right.
Lost 4 scuttles, lost Raptors. Experienced advantage heavily in favor of Weiwei because he was farming up. There was not much you can do after that point. So I think that, once again, this is not a gambit that they just throw at a board. They don't just say, Riven.
Riven.
Like, they
Next
tried
time.
this. They practiced this. Unfortunately, whoever they did it against was not as good as Suning.
No, it definitely was. I'm curious as to who in scrims they actually tried it against. Maybe some of the other lower teams. But I digress forward because Ale seemed, you know, he was.
What are you gonna say?
I don't know, because he's in the driver's seat. But was he? Like he was.
So he was in the driver's seat, and I think what we're gonna see in
good
game 2.
Yeah.
Game 2, what's gonna happen is they're gonna clean up all the shenanigans because you can't shenanigans Suning.
Or
What?
they just go deeper down the rabbit hole.
Stop it.
Garen
That's not gonna
jungle. No? Alright.
I think what we're gonna be what we're gonna be seeing is primarily like they're gonna focus on Ale. That's the best way to play out the games for OMG. Ale's already showed the IQ later on in the game what is a pure losing game that he can still get onto the back line with the Camille. So play topside. Why are you playing bottom side to Chelly and 5? Like, that has not been the strategy for this team in a very long time.
True. You
got to play to your top side, which is either, like, get a lead for Icon, put him top side for whatever the matchup is. Fiora's been banned, so I think game 2 you're going to ban Fiora again. He's going to find himself, maybe he throws Riven top lane. I'm just saying the Riven champion is not fine. Who it is on is an issue.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the major point of OMG. I like the strategy with like early game focus Kalista and whoever. And I think that whatever that is, just throw that into the next game because OMG's been pretty consistent with getting early game leads.
There's been a lot of topside proximity between best 16 and Ale, or other way around if we're talking about XiaoAL. But is there going to be a Riven in game 2 in the jungle? I'm sure Raz has the answer right after this.